So all I've done here is opened up Dreamweaver. There is not a file open up yet, and we're not going to do that for a minute because first I want to make sure that you get your working space set up the correct way from the get-go. You'll notice that up here in the upper right corner, my menu up here currently says Standard. If yours does not, then drop that menu and pull down to Standard. If yours does say Standard but doesn't look like the desktop currently on the screen, then you can choose Reset Standard. Now, Dreamweaver can appear a little overwhelming when you first get into it.
Like, oh my God.
Because like with all the Adobe programs, there's a lot to it. Lots of menus and windows, etc. And so what I like to do is to simplify your interface with Dreamweaver as much as possible. You know, the good news is you really aren't going to be messing with these tools too much over here, so that makes this much simpler than, say, Photoshop or Illustrator. But you will be interfacing with these windows over here quite a bit. Now, there are 4 windows here that we just don't need. So I'm going to show you how to get rid of those. So these 3 down here, DOM, Assets, and Snippets, I'm going to drag DOM out of there. That will make it a floating window, and I can just click on the X, and that will get rid of it completely. Snippets, again, I'm just pulling out by the tab. I can now X that guy out. And then finally, Assets, I can now X him out. So you can see that now gives me this whole right side of working space, which will be very helpful. Now up here, there is one tab that we really don't need, and that is CC Libraries. So I'm going to click on that to make it active. And CC Libraries is great, it's just that in the context of the class, we most likely won't be using it. So I'm going to drag this tab out, and then again, click on the X, and you can see that we have a much simpler interface, at least in terms of the number of windows. So you should have a CSS Designer tab, an Insert tab, and a Files tab. And we will be using each and every one of those quite a bit. Now, there actually is a window that we have to add. And so to do that, you go up to the Window menu, and I would like you to pull down to Properties, which is right there. And that will either go ahead and attach to your dock, or it may be a floating window like you see here on the screen. If you get a floating window like I did, then you can grab it by this very top gray bar and pull it down to the bottom of the page until you see that, a thick blue line. And that tells you that when you let go, it will attach to the bottom of the page. And so this is like the Properties window in the other Adobe programs, such as Illustrator and Photoshop, in that it will show you what's going on when you have certain things selected within your working space. Okay, so that's it for general setup. Let's go ahead and open up the file, and we'll do the second part of this.
Let's do it.
So I'm going to go up to the File menu, pull down to New, Command-N also works, or Control-N on a PC. And that will bring up this dialog box that, while it may look complicated, we are going to treat it in a very simple way. So, New Document, click on that. Document type, HTML. Framework, none. Now in here you'll see the doc type is listed as HTML5. That's exactly what we want. And then that's really all we got to do. So now I'm just going to click Create. And this is most likely what you're going to see when you first open up Dreamweaver, and you'll notice that this looks nothing like what it looks like when we're in class together. So let me show you how to get these windows looking the way they should.
Yes, dear.
So up at the top here in the middle, you'll notice that there are 3 views. There is Code View, there is what's called Currently Live View, but I'm going to have you go ahead and change that. So the little arrow right here, click on that, and instead of being Live View, let's make this Design View. So I'll talk more about that in class. And then finally, there is Split View. And so Split View gives you the best of both worlds. So here's the code, and then here is Design View, meaning that it shows you the code and then it gives you a preview of what your page will look like. So the browser cares about this, but we'd much rather work in this.
Totally, for sure.
Okay, so in class, I normally have these split vertically. So I'm going to go to the View menu, and I'm going to pull down to Split, and I'm going to choose Split vertically instead of Split horizontally. So now you'll see Design Views on the left, and Code View is on the right. Now in class, I have it just the opposite, Code View on the left. So we're going to switch that also. So I'm going to go to the View menu one more time, pull down to Split, and uncheck Design View on left. That will make the Design View be on right, and now our document working space is set up exactly how I give the demos. And so while you're learning, I think it's best if you kind of follow my format, because when I'm showing you how to do things both in class and the videos, this is the setup I'm going to have. So if I point to something in a certain place, then it's going to be in that same place when you get to work on it in your screen. So that's it. You're ready to start working, so I'll see you in the next video.